Which cooling system components can cause your classic Mercedes to overheat? So last week we talked about low oil in the fan clutch. Today we're going to talk about some other reasons that your classic Mercedes can overheat. And so overheating is defined as consistently and continuously running at engine temperatures of roughly over 100 Celsius or 200 Fahrenheit. 100 Celsius is like the reference mark. It's noted as the third blank mark on the temperature gauge, the mark with no number or name. It's the mark above the 80 Celsius mark. And when you have a car that starts to approach that mark, you should be concerned. But once it goes over that mark, you should be scared. Because most of these cars, even in the worst circumstances, do not go over that mark. And they shouldn't. And if they do, there is a problem. So we're going to explore what will cause your Mercedes to run at that 100 Celsius mark. The first one is a constricted radiator. Now, Mercedes came with two types of radiators. They came with nice, strong copper radiators like the 380 SL and 500 SL and 116 and 115 and 108 and 109 series cars. These were big, heavy, all-metal radiators that can be serviced and rebuilt. Number two, the cars came with a plastic and aluminum radiator, and this was first used in the 123 series. So if you have an older 123 series car, you might start, and it's got its original radiator. It's very common to see the plastic fading away and turning almost like a clearish color on top. Now, this is totally okay, but I got to warn you about these plastic radiators. And it's not so much the plastic. The plastic either works or it doesn't. It's the aluminum core. The aluminum core, after so many expansion and contraction cycles, if you're using dirty water, if it's real hot outside, if you have an event where your thermostat is malfunctioning, if it gets really hot and then it gets cooled down almost immediately, the core will constrict. And why do radiator cores constrict? Well, because aluminum does not always hold its shape. Now, you might think I'm crazy, but these hybrid radiators, when they start to get really old and they've gone through so many contraction expansion processes, they do not flow water or coolant as well, nor do they dissipate heat as effectively. How do you know when one is going bad? Because if you feel the middle of it, you will find that a bad radiator has a cold or cooler middle. We define an inefficient radiator as a radiator whose temperature gradient is about 30%. 25% is okay, it's borderline. But what I mean is from top to bottom, there shouldn't be more than a 25% difference between temperatures. Left to right, you might have 30% or so. But what you don't want to see is you feel the radiator, it's hot at the top, you touch the middle of it. Let's say you shove your hand down in the fan, you brace yourself, you deal with the heat, or you use an infrared thermometer, which is the big brain way to do it, and your radiator is cold. You can keep your hand there. Now, I have to admit, most people do not have my temperature reinforced hands, but if you can touch that radiator for a second and it doesn't feel that hot, carefully touch it some more. If you could keep your hand there for like 20, 30 seconds, like a normal hand, it's too cold. It should burn the crap out of your hand. And you could verify this with an infrared thermometer, which again is a much better way and will keep you from getting burned or injured, which is the way I actually suggest. But if you're in an emergency, you can carefully do it with your hand. Do not let the engine run while you're doing this. If you do this with a running engine, you are stupid and you will get injured. So there's the disclaimer. Also, if you're afraid of getting burned, then just go to your local Harbor Freight and spend $20 on an infrared thermometer. Easy peasy. Number two, the fan clutch. Fan clutches are usually out of oil, which we talked about in a previous video, but sometimes you fill them with oil and they still don't work all that well. Well, for the man who cannot get his fan clutch under control, even after he's injected 3 or 4 ounces of 3,000, 5,000, 7,000 CST silicone oil into it, sometimes the fan clutch, sort of like a torque converter, has wear and tear inside just from fluid circulating or the thing running dry or whatever. Call Mercedes and get a fan clutch, or get a good used fan clutch and refill it with oil. Do something. Some fan clutches have tighter tolerances than others. I will say that once they're full, the torque converter effect is more obvious. They may still freewheel when they're hot, but what you should feel is the fan clutch moving heat away from the engine as you rev it up. You should feel it both at idle, and you should feel it when you're in drive or park or whatever, pushing hot air off the radiator. Now, another common issue with Mercedes temperature regulation has to be, well, it's almost always within the thermostat. Now, there are 2 ways to really cause thermostat issues if you have a Mercedes with a temperature control issue. The first one is changing your thermostat, which we're going to assume you've done, but you haven't bled the cooling system. If you have a remote expansion tank, like you add coolant in the front right fender, and the car refuses to cool down, guess what that means? It means that there's air in the system. You have to pull a sensor out so that it'll bleed all the air out. And then once you pull the temperature sensor and you see coolant gushing out, put the sensor back and massage the upper radiator hose until it's full of coolant. The system will self-adjust its coolant level up or down as needed. What you want to make sure of is that you don't have a leak. Another thing that people do is they make the mistake of putting in junk thermostats or a thermostat that's too hot. For example, Mercedes originally called for an 87-degree thermostat on the 1968 to 71 280SL, SE, SEL, etc. Now, if you're in Florida, you're running air all the time. The average temperature in the summer is 90,000 degrees. It's always hot or humid. I don't think 87 degrees is a great number for a thermostat. I think a better number is 80. Because that 87 degree thermostat is actually going to start to open around 90 to 93 degrees. What you really want is a thermostat that's going to be open around 84 or 85, which is what you'll get with an 80 degree thermostat. Some people choose 71 degree thermostats, that's fine too. But you need to make sure that you have the right temperature thermostat and don't use a cheap thermostat. There are 3 thermostats I use, and we're looking at the brand on the thermostat and not the brand in the box. Wahler, Mahle, or Bear could be supplied by Mercedes. If you get something from Mercedes, it's always safe. But the other 3, you just need to be careful and make sure to get something that's actually good. All right. Last one, I promise. Defective temperature gauges and sending units. Use that infrared thermometer that I hope you bought by now, like you paused the video and went out and got it. And check all the areas in your engine and see if the reading on the temperature gauge is within 5 degrees of what you're getting on the infrared thermometer. And by the way, this should not be just after the car sits and idles. It should be immediately after you drive it. It should be while you're driving it. I have had so many cars where I go down the road, temperature stays high on the gauge, temperature goes low in the engine, gauge does not register the difference. I don't know why this happens, but I think a lot of people just assume because the gauge works, it is accurate. Now, if you have an inaccurate gauge on an older car like a 280 SE 4.5 with an ether capsule, you could just send it to Palo Alto speedometer, Overseas speedometer, or Fort Lauderdale speedometer, or whatever. And if they can rebuild an ether tube, they can repair and recalibrate this gauge. Electric gauges are a little bit trickier. The individual gauge elements are replaceable from the cluster, so you don't have to put a whole cluster in. We'll probably do this in another video sometime where I show you guys what I found. But keep in mind that inaccuracy with gauges is a big problem with older cars, any older car, not just a classic Mercedes. So it should always be in the back of your mind. However, you should also never assume your gauge is inaccurate because it could cost you something like a cylinder head. So there we go. All right, I hope you guys found this video really informative. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any additional information on this topic, please add it in the comments. And if you stayed this long, I'm going to give you one more bonus tip on M130 engines and M114 engines and other 6-cylinder Mercedes engines for the period. If your ignition timing is dialed back too far, as in it is retarded, the engines will run hotter. As you advance timing on gasoline engines, the engines will run cooler because you don't have so much latent burned combustible gas spending as much time in the cylinder. So I hope you guys appreciate that tip. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay.